Thank you. And so we were just going to start with a quick debrief of our walkabout that we did on the 1st, so a couple of weeks ago, that was dedicated for the East Side. It was a good turnout. We had city staff available. So Barbara Anderson, Liz Thoughts with the city, of course, Mayor Rouse was there. Chief Gordon participated as well with Lieutenant Katsapis. And we had our various outreach teams. So we had Odin with Path, Good Samaritan, and CityNet, and a couple of other folks. Alan Bleeker, we had council member Oscar Gutierrez present, and then we also had Jet Black, who's also on the call regularly. So it was a good group. Met at the CVS on Milpas, and then we walked down toward McDonald's, and we were able to do a loop. So we walked on one side of the street, and then on our way back, we crossed over and walked up on the other side of Milpas. And we stopped by, I want to say, almost pretty much every business along the way, and checked in with everyone. We had flyers for our regional action plan meetings, so they were able to scan the QR code to access the various Zoom links if they're interested in joining our call, as well as the homeless directory, homelessness response directory that we have. And while we were checking in with folks, we got a lot of just positive feedback about their appreciation for us being there and connecting with them with the resources that we had, but also just hearing from them about what impacts they might be dealing with. And so far from a lot of the businesses, they didn't have a lot of impacts on their businesses. The ones that did, PD was there as well to be able to connect with them and see how they could support down the line. So I think overall, it was a really good walk. We do have outreach, so if maybe CityNet or Odin would like to just do a quick debrief about how their interactions with outreach on the walk went.
Sure, I'd love to speak about it. So we got to meet a lot of really familiar faces and then some new faces at the same time. I got to connect them, and really a lot of the times when we had these conversations, especially as we get further down Milpas and away from Path, a lot of them, although they were familiar with homeless services or the Path, a lot of them had this idea about what homeless services were back when they were engaged with it, let's say like 2, 3, 5, maybe 7 years ago, and just really talk and say, hey, there's some new renovations or some new things going on right now. It's whatever maybe you had some issues with the staff at the time you were over there, or with some residents, or what, like the environment when it was, let's say, when Path with Casa Esperanza, just really saying, hey, now things are a little bit different. Maybe you'd like to take a tour. Maybe one of these days we can have this conversation. Because really, a lot of these individuals, like, sure, they've had these interactions before, but now having this reconnecting with them, especially now that they've been, moving around more, like away from whatever their encampment was and moving towards the city, it's just good to reconnect with them and maybe reintroduce them back to services and really make those opportunities for building to hopefully bring them back into the shelters.
Thank you. And I don't know, Barbara or Liz, if you had anything that you wanted to add about our recap of the walk.
I just want to share that it's been amazing to see the turnout for each of our walks in the last several months. And I know we did multiple site visits / walks in December, and the participation hasn't dwindled. And so I want to share my gratitude, because I think, one, it goes a long way in us being able to continue to connect with each other, providers talking with each other, and just having that time to walk the neighborhood. And two, that every business that we've engaged with are really honestly kind of stunned to see how many folks are there, how many folks are committing to them, that we do care. We are prioritizing the neighborhood. We're doing everything we can to address the issues in the neighborhood. And yeah, there's of course always more work to be done, but I appreciate the connection both among our collaborative as well as with the neighborhood.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop in and second what Barbara was saying. Seeing the outreach teams at work, for me, I was with the outreach side of group, and seeing them at work was really amazing. And apparently I got to witness a really exciting, one of the longest interactions with an individual who is known around town, who barely says a word to anybody. And the fact that he talked with us for more than one word was a huge breakthrough. So seeing that excitement of being able to increase engagements with people and was really touching. And like Barbara said, the fact that people are really appreciative to see that, you know, city leaders and, you know, the chief and the mayor coming to talk to them and hear them out was really impactful and really powerful. So I think overall these have been really great. So thank you for hosting these.
Yeah. And so as we are planning to have the walks on a monthly basis, but we're alternating between regions. So our next walk will be March 2nd, and it'll be focusing on Upper State Street region. So we have a couple of more months before we return back to the east side, but we just wanted to update you on those efforts.
We have a question in the chat from Natasha just about some of the commentary from business owners.
No, I think the overall response was that they either have been able to manage, you know, when there is a level of engagement, you know, even the washing fold, you know, has an individual that actually picks up litter outside, keeps things tidy and clean. And then things like, you know, the cannabis operation obviously has security outside. Wells Fargo has had some issues. The people on site at the time were those that really have kind of dealt with those day to day, but shared with us that they would, you know, continue to share the information, share the response directory. So Natasha, that's of course not the case, but I think, you know, for those that we were able to engage with outside of areas that we know are highly impacted, like McDonald's, CVS, some of the liquor stores. We had actually had extended conversation with the liquor stores about some issues that they're managing. So it was a mix of kind of responses when it came to the day-to-day impacts, just because of the variety of businesses that we were engaging with.
And so part of our walks, the objective really too with our meetings and working with outreach is we are trying to establish a regional by name list for each region with 5 to 10 individuals of the highest need, so we can prioritize those individuals. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to CityNet and Good Samaritan for their amazing work and starting that by name list for the east side. They can definitely talk more about that, but just wanting to update everyone on the progress that's being made. And we've already identified 5 individuals that are going to be our first 5 top individuals for the east side that we are going to focus on. And so that is underway now. And then I don't know, Odin or CityNet, if you wanted to jump in and just say a little bit about that, but just major progress is being done there. And I'm really looking forward to working with the teams on it.
Sure, yeah. So for the past few months now, we've just been doing information gathering, at least getting to, you know, touch base with at least with every individual on the East Side waterfront area and just collate them into one big spreadsheet. So now that they're all the names are over here, we have the opportunity to just bring up this list to providers, discuss whatever challenges that they've had in the past, and just really hone in on the top 15 individuals that we want to prioritize, because what we're seeing with these high impact individuals, you know, mainstays of the East Side, is that a lot of them have been through providers before, have been interacting with, you know, services in the past, and for one reason or another have been unsuccessful. really, now that we have, identified them, it's just really gathering more contact, gathering more information about, what their past was, and see, hey, if it's possible, it's like, if there's a new approach that we can take that we haven't before, and see if there's any way that, if they're willing to, re-engage. Maybe it's because, when they tried going through this program, it just didn't, they just didn't identify with their caseworker. Or maybe whereas if they tried another program, it would work, and see what kind of barriers there are. Really, what we're going to try and do is bring it up to every service provider that we have, and hopefully, just get them back into re-engaging with services.
And so that's something that, since we have that list now, during today's session, we'll be discussing those during the closed session. Excuse me. We'll be discussing those 5 individuals and getting more background on them as a group, and starting those initial conversations about how we can support them. And so those are the updates that we had for you all. And so now I know there's a couple of comments in the chat about areas that need that support. So we do want to just kind of transition now for everyone to bring up other areas or just anything that you'd like to talk about today for the East Side. So we can start with Susie's comment regarding the post office and just a number of increased encampments there too. So I don't know if Susan, if there was anything else that you'd like to add to that, or then Odin maybe can speak to some of those efforts.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Just wanted to acknowledge that our side of the street has been amazing, but it just went to the opposite side. And of course, I had 2 new hires in this week, and they made mention of it. And again, so I appreciate, our side trying to stay clear, especially with the trucks coming in and out. And it's one less stressor for me, although we have to dodge them in the street because they're Odin can to attest that they're on these bikes and they're just weaving in and out, and you don't know which direction they're going to go when you're driving. So, but in any case, I think it just flopped from our side to the opposite side, and it looks like it's being worse this week. So I don't know, Odin, if you want to chime in on that as well. But
Definitely, yeah. So right now we're seeing a fair bit of familiar faces and a fair bit of new faces coming in with encampments right across the street. I touched base with them just this morning, and they said, "Hey, I guess I can't really disclose that information, but they are new faces. Santa Barbara locals, is what I can say, but from a different area who have made their way across the street. And then there's also a few familiar faces that Path has seen before. And really now the goal is just re-engage with them, see what their issues were, because they were engaged with us in the past, and now really just evaluating what fell through, and then see if there are any other services outside of the general area, because clearly whatever services that were over here didn't quite serve them as well as was hoping, otherwise they wouldn't be out there. So now it's just saying, hey, maybe there's something in North County, maybe there's something outside of the area that we can try and build out. But right now it's just rapport building that I want to try and do, and it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a little bit to introduce myself or reintroduce myself to these individuals. But yeah, I've touched base.
I just want to jump in real quick. This is Al with CityNet. I know my team had a long day yesterday with an individual that I believe was out there in front of Path. I think across the street at the post office for a while. She's been out there. You guys are probably all familiar with her. We were able to get her into sobering, detox center long term. We transported her out to LA. Thanks to SB Act and and Path and all of us working together. We got her into a hotel for one night just to get her stabilized, to get her prepared. And my teams went over there and picked her up at 7 a.m. yesterday, and they didn't get back to Santa Barbara till about 3 in the afternoon. It was a long day. I got feedback from Christina and Melissa on the process. So, just understand it was draining in all aspects, but we're continuously coming together. And this is someone that at Morgan, everyone has seen right there, on Cacique for a while. This was probably over a month process into the last minute when they were doing the intake in Los Angeles after the hour's drive, with the stop on the side of the freeway and having to exit and everything. Like the individuals and people, the population we work with, even when they're ill, we do, and I can't applaud my staff and just everyone involved enough, but just my staff that went on long day to support someone to get into the fleece of their journey into ability, but they were able to see it through that it needs. But that was a success yesterday. And so just to go back to what Odin's saying, it's just connecting with them on a daily basis to build that trust, because she wouldn't have trust to get in the hotel, trust to get in the vehicle, wanted to get out of the vehicle, had to get all her clothes together, did not want to do the intake when she was there. And my team was like, is this going to really happen? And they did to support her. They stood by her side, no matter how, draining it was. And I'm just so thankful to hear that she got in there. So I did want to give the Eastside community and just, you guys in general, that the work is being done. It does take some time. And even when we finally have successes like yesterday, it still goes down to the last, when we're driving away and they walk into the center and they're receiving the services. So the work is being done, and I know it's difficult to go through it at times for the community, but I wanted to let you know there was a big success yesterday. And that was all of us, coming together to get it done.
Thank you, Al. Yeah, we're very familiar with this individual. Actually, it's this individual was on one of my employees' youth groups back in the day. So glad to hear that we may have success.
Yes.
It's amazing. Well, yeah, thank you everyone, Sitting and Odin, for just all of the hard work that you continue to do. I wanted, if there's any other kind of questions or follow-up questions that maybe anyone has for the group, or other areas that you'd like to bring up. Natalia, yeah.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I do have a question. I see Deborah, I believe, I apologize, I don't remember her last name, is on the call regarding the parking. I'd like some updates on De La Guerra Street, Deborah, about the cars that are being parked there overnight. I know I've sent you in the past pictures about a lot of the cars that are there. So I'd like to get an update. Or Al, have you gone out there as well to check on these people that are living in their cars?
Natalie, when I went out and
Natalia.
spent some time with many people living there in their vehicles, and the vehicles did slowly vacate as requested. And I went back, not that long ago, but not this week. It would have been at least last week. And I only found a couple of abandoned vehicles, which I notified through Fulcrum, through the county, that they were abandoned there so they could have them removed. So and I don't know if now, because I did not get a chance to go today, if now they're returning again, if you're seeing them again, and we need to go back out again and talk with them.
Excuse me, they are. I'll go this afternoon and take some photos and get them to you.
Okay. Yeah, the photos were helpful. It helped us. The time of day is helpful. The photos are helpful. And hopefully those 2 abandoned vehicles were removed. And, because that's always helpful to get abandoned vehicles out of there.
Mhm.
Yeah, just do that. And then I'll just go out Monday morning and see what I can find out, or this evening on my way back to Ventura.
Okay,
You have a
okay,
chance to
great.
get the
Thank-
photos to me too. Okay, all right, no problem.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks so very much for the update. Thanks.
Right. We are coming up to the 30-minute mark of transitioning our call to the closed session. So I just wanted to, again, give that opportunity to everyone for any other questions or areas of concerns that you'd like to bring to the table. And we'll continue to update the group on efforts as things unfold, like with the post office as well.
And I just, Catherine, wanted to take a minute to share everyone some upcoming enforcement activities that we're coordinating with the police department and sustainability and resilience around the labor line. So I've always committed to you that if we have a heads up and we can do something a little bit more concerted and have a little bit more of a strategic plan, that I will always ask for your patience. But we are going to be, and Joelle, correct me if I'm wrong, either late next week or early the following week, fencing the area around the labor line. So a couple of things. One is, as you've seen, laborers have actually been pushed out of the area because we have several individuals that have kind of been residing in encampment-like settings in that kind of inset area of the labor line. So laborers have actually been pushed out of the area where it's legal for them to pick up day work. And so it's important for us at the city to make sure that we maintain that area for its intended purpose, which is day laborers and folks being able to seek employment for the day. So it's going to create a shuffle. And so that's why I wanted to let you all know that we're going to see some movement of the folks who have been frequenting that area and are experiencing homelessness. They were previously at a kind of creek bed area around Garden and moved out of that area during the storms and ended up at that labor line area. So we are going to be, concerted with our outreach teams. We're making sure that no movement's happening until Spanish outreach can also be there. We're also looking to not fence that location until after the Wednesday rescue mission time, where a lot of our providers are across the way and can be able to walk over to engage. Sometimes we get receptivity when there is going to be an enforcement activity. And so again, we'll seize the opportunity if someone is ready to accept services and we're able to make those connections. So I'm just giving everyone a heads up. It's not going to be for an extended duration, but we do need to make it long enough that we're, again, really trying to remind folks that the intended purpose of that area is day labor and day work. Joelle, is there anything you want to add to this? And again, if people see an uptick, new folks in new areas, we want to hear all the reports and all of the details too, so that we can stay on top of it.
No, thank you, Barbara. You addressed everything. We are looking 2 weeks out. I spoke with Denny, and I'll give you an update on that, Barbara, later on today. But you addressed everything.
And Denny is our chief prosecutor, if anyone wants to know. So again, we there's protocols we need to follow, not only for the safety of our community, but obviously the rights for all of our residents. So we want to make sure that we're managing that. And it is a challenging place. We had a very big meeting across city departments today, this week, talking it through. So I just really appreciate, one, that coordination, two, that we can use our resources to prioritize that area as much as possible before enforcement activities, and that we're taking the time today to make you all aware of it as well. Any questions for us? And again, please keep us informed if you see new folks after enforcement activities. And it looks like if it's 2 weeks out, then we would have another Eastside RAP during this time, so that we'd be able to field questions and concerns from you on this as well.
And then Natasha, see your comment in the chat about State Street and some activity. We just had our State Street and Waterfront RAP call yesterday with the various outreach teams and city staff as well. And so we were able to identify some areas were reported to us. And so outreach and PD are working on that.
We also have the film festival, as you all know, so there's going to be an uptick of folks coming into the area to seize what could be a good opportunity economically for them. So please know it's all hands on deck. Our city nights and weekend team knows that this is the top priority. This is the second week that they'll be deployed out there. So already, again, gaining traction. We're able to prioritize a couple of folks and Dignity moves much sooner than we had thought that we'd be able to. So we've actually had a couple of wins this week in that regard. But please let us know. And we will be sharing after several months of implementation of night and weekends, a hotline number that can be called for the State Street and Waterfront corridor for businesses and business owners, including city departments and city staff. We're just slow on rolling that out. Right now, we're focused on PD and CityNet working closely together, and then it'll expand to other city departments and CityNet working together. And then we'll be able to roll that access line out for a rapid response team when we're able to manage what that response time is and make sure that we're clarifying expectations with everyone in that area as well.
And then I would like to invite everyone, we have our all-call RAP meeting taking place next Wednesday at 3 p.m. And that one, since we're talking about kind of this shuffling around of individuals, unfortunately, we don't have enough shelter beds. And so that's going to continue to happen in terms of seeing people move about. And so we're having a presentation from the county on our continuum of care and just getting an update on the community action plan, as well as Dignity Move and their new initiative, Dignity Now, to try to bring more beds online to fill that gap, because we need over 400 shelter beds to really serve our population. So that'll all be taking place next Wednesday at 3 p.m. and I will be sending out an email later today with that Zoom link. So if you'd like to find out more about those initiatives that are taking place countywide and kind of what that'll look like for Santa Barbara, then please join us on the call. And then, as Barbara mentioned, you can always reach out. There are various points of contact on this call. Do not hesitate to reach out to any one of us, and we all communicate and follow up with one another. So again, never hesitate with any questions or concerns.
And I want to end with some good news, even though it's not homelessness related, but it's neighborhood improvement related. Sustainability and resilience through their contractor and additional resources that came in through ARPA and Clean SB has had a contractor working through the night to power wash the sidewalks and remove the litter and empty all the public trash cans the last 2 nights on Milpas. And so I hope it's sparkling a little bit brighter from your eyes. At least it's from my perspective. But again, I just want everyone to know, like, the Eastside neighborhood is so important to us. And it's all hands on deck across city departments. But I just want to say a special shout out to Sustainability and Resilience for making that happen. It was a push, and we'll be able to do it perhaps a little bit more for at least through the end of this fiscal year. But I hope you notice the difference while you're walking out and about this weekend.
Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Susie. I appreciate your comment in the chat. Really does take a village, and just thank you all for continuing to work with us. And always just a huge shout out to our outreach teams that are out on the streets doing the work. So appreciate you all. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time. So yes, thank you. If you're not a service provider, then